Okay, so I will be very honest with you in this video. So in the past, I tried to use the letting go technique and it just didn't work out. And I noticed that for some people, it just doesn't work that well or not that good, right? And I tried to follow these typical tips that I found on YouTube, or I don't know, when I asked people, and they just told me, okay, just, let go of your expectations. Just don't focus on your expectations and have patience. And I found this not good advice. I tried to do that, right? And it didn't help me at all. Like, I was more confused. I was like sitting there sometimes for many hours, nothing happened. What the fuck is happening? You know? And for some people, it just works like this. They just let it go. Theoretically speaking, it's possible to let go something in 1 minute. Okay. So, what is now the difference between these people that can let go and it just works, right? And the people who struggle with that, or for who it's really, really difficult. So, what's now the difference? And it's not just in the way how people say, you just need to be patient. Yeah, don't have expectations while you meditate. No, it's not this. First of all, let's uncover these two tips. What does it mean to not have expectations? In reality, even if you tell yourself have no expectations, you will still have expectations because you collected them over a lifetime, right? The more expectations you have, the more resistance you have in the now. That's what it means. So instead of focusing, trying not to have expectations, you can release, if you really have a lot of expectations, you can focus on the expectation itself. Rather than the typical emotions, you first release your expectations towards the letting go itself, right? Because maybe you have expectations, I hope it just works fast. And this is exactly the reason why it doesn't work. So you need first to release this resistance towards letting go itself by focusing on these expectations. By the way, in this video, I will tell you the full formula what you can do if letting go doesn't work out. So it will guarantee work out better for you after this video, especially if you struggle with it or doesn't work that good for you. So yeah, so that's what you can do. The same with patience. What does impatience actually means is that you feel resistance in the now. Why should you be impatient and hope to get something in the future? Is because you have resistance right now in the moment. So only the now exists. The future and the past, they are concepts, right? So if you have impatience, you have like a longing, a craving for the future, for example, something should work faster. It's because right now, how you are, this is not good. That's why, right? So you can release impatience because behind impatience is usually a feeling of lack or not being good enough, that you need something right now, but from a place of lack. Okay, so what is the reason now that some people can let go naturally good and some others not that good, or not, it doesn't work that well? So the degree to which letting go works for you is the degree to which you learned that feeling emotions is okay. And to the degree to which letting go usually doesn't work for you is the degree to which you learned that feeling certain type of emotions is not okay. Okay? What does that then mean? What can you do about this? So that means there was a time in your child when you learned that, or in the past, that you learned that feeling certain type of emotions is not okay. And now when you sit with it, if you sit for many hours or you just sit and nothing happens, right? As you let go of them, naturally, it works. So what can you do? First of all, you start with the typical letting go at the start, where you just sit down, breathe deeply in and out. Basically, just focus on starting to be concentrated, to be focused, but in a relaxed way, your body's relaxed. and you feel this emotion in your body, you experience this emotion. And sometimes the first emotion is like here to protect you. So there's actually a second emotion behind that. For example, behind anger can be fear or sadness, right? If you sit usually for a while, it pops up. No matter if something pops up or even if it doesn't pop up, if you just notice that you just sit in all the time, you're just frustrated, nothing happens. No matter how long you sit with the emotion, then there are two things you can do. First, observe whether you have expectations towards letting go. Then focus on the expectation itself. Okay? Because if you have too much expectations, it's about the outcome. You hope that you finally proceed this emotion so that you are free, but exactly because you hope, because you have these expectations that it finally will be gone, is the reason why you don't let it go. It's exactly the reason why you're attached to it. So first focus on releasing your expectations around that, towards the letting go itself, right? And the second thing is, so once you feel this emotion, this is another thing you can do. You ask yourself, if you notice there's emotion, it's difficult for you to proceed this emotion, letting go just doesn't work or you struggle. You ask yourself then, when was the first time you learned that this feeling is not okay? And then you just wait. You just wait what comes up. And then the emotion that comes up, this is the emotion you focus on. Because this is like the emotion towards the feeling itself. This is the resistance towards the feeling itself. Okay? When you learn that being sad, for example, is not okay, if you try to focus now on sadness and you have a huge amount of resistance, no matter what you do, somehow you can proceed it fully, right? There will be always resistance. So you need to first focus on these experiences when it was for the first time not okay for you to feel, and then you experience that emotion. And once you experience that, that you feel becomes more and more natural. Maybe there are also different triggers. Maybe you need to do it multiple times. Okay, so it depends on the person. But then letting go becomes more natural because feeling becomes more natural. Okay, now here's another thing that I will tell you, two other things. So another thing is because people have also beliefs that letting go is hard. Okay, so now where you also let go of your resistance towards the feeling itself by asking this question that I said, you need also to change your belief that letting go is not that hard, but that it's easy. Letting go can be easy, or even very easy if you're already on the easy level. Okay? So letting go can be easy. So as you release this resistance, seek confirmation. Try to find confirmation every day. Why is letting go easy? Maybe just because you watched this video and now you learned, wait, okay, it's actually not that I'm not that good at this. It's just that I had more resistance than others. So actually letting go is not really difficult, right? It can be easy. So change your belief that letting go is easy, right? It doesn't have to be hard. So that's how it was for me. I started where it was for me impossible almost to let go anything, right? And I tried these typical techniques and didn't work out for me. To have no patience, to have patience, stuff like that. So instead, I was releasing my triggers around where I learned not to feel, and changed my beliefs around that letting go is easy. And what then happened is that it has become more natural. I don't say I'm totally like Yoda at letting go, but it works every day. I just let go. If I have a trigger, it works. Okay. And it works faster the more you have released these resistances towards the time when you learned not to feel. So at the start, I was sitting for many hours. Okay, and nothing happened. So very often nothing happened. And now I sit way less, right? I sit sometimes for 10, 15 minutes and boom, just let it go, right? So this is one thing, to change this belief while also releasing this resistance towards the time when you learned that feeling is not okay. Now, here's a third thing. This helped me personally. That's why I will tell you that. This is the third tip. I will use all three tips. Okay. And the third tip is, it's about your beliefs about every single emotion, not just letting go. So as when you were a child, you learned that certain emotions are not good, right? They are bad. You should not feel them. Maybe you should not even express them. So both. And from my experience, this is the reason why letting go is harder. Okay? In reality, so you have beliefs that emotions are not good, right? So these negative, low vibration emotions, are not good. And this is the reason why it is then harder. So what helped me is to realize the value in these more negative emotions or more low vibration emotions. By, for example, with guilt, it is like that guilt is actually a tool, an emotion that helps you to recognize when you are off your path, when you are not following your values. For example, you hurt someone really hard, or you hurt someone and you are unconscious. Now you feel guilt. This is reasonable guilt, right? So it's there to show you when you are off track of your true values. Of course, it can be that you feel overall guilty because you have not let go of it. But what I mean is, there's value behind these emotions. Like anger is actually there to help you to set boundaries, right? To help you with your boundaries, to give you power. So go into your childhood and look, what did you learn about your emotions? What beliefs did you learn? That they're not okay to feel, that they're not okay to express, right? And then question them. Is it absolutely true? Like, will every single family act like that? Isn't it every collective like that? In every country, do they act the same way towards emotions? Like, if not, then it's a belief, right? So what is absurd about that? What is absurd about that you learned, let's say, towards anger, to think that towards anger? Okay? And then you can also, after that, ask yourself, okay, what is something good about this emotion, right? What is good about this emotion? What is a good function? Like what I explained about guilt and anger, right? So basically, you reframe these beliefs where you learned that some of the emotions are bad, right? And they have actually something good about them. They are sometimes necessary, right? What it helps you is that you don't see emotions as enemies, that you don't hope that they just go, but you learned that you recognize, okay, it's just what I learned in my childhood about, or in the past about my emotions. They're actually not that bad, so I don't need to resist them that hard, right? They are okay. Okay? So as you see them okay, you resist them less. The less you resist, the better letting go works. Okay? So this is the last tip that I had for you. And yeah, comment below what helped you the most, or what was the greatest epiphany for you. And if you have any other questions, something like that, you can also comment below, right? If you have another question about letting go. See you next time. Bye bye.